So, good afternoon, traders. First, I want to thank you guys for joining us on this presentation. My name is Sean Kozak. I'm the CEO of Tickblaze. And what we're doing in this webinar is we are releasing the very first trading system combo, as you will. And there's a little bit of a story behind this because what this is this was the strategy that I've been trading manually for a very, very long time. This was the strategy that I've ultimately was teaching in the boot camps. For many of you that joined us, we had a large amount of traders that came and joined us in the prop boot camps. And what I decided to do was we had so much success with it. Well, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. And the problem was is that the trading strategy itself took a lot of time to prep and to build, and a lot of traders, well, just they didn't weren't able to do it themselves manually. So what we decided to do is we decided to build it as an indicator package and create the 3 bar pattern and liquidity compass trading system. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the strategy. We're going to talk about the combination of the tool set. We're going to talk about how well I traded with this type of an approach. And then we're going to show you how you guys can learn it, how you guys can understand it, you guys can look to utilize it, and all things in between, right? And so we are recording this event. We'll get you guys a recording here after the presentation. If you have questions, which I'm assuming you will, please type them in the chat box. If I can get to them, I will. If I can't, I'll save them to the end of the webinar. And yeah, I mean, pretty much that's what we're going to talk about. Now, first things first, this isn't some random indicator. Like, this is a full-blown trading system that has rules and the ways in which we use the tools. And this generated, well, when I've traded this manually for a very long time, but when I ran the boot camp, I basically took a trading account and grew it by 150% in less than a month. And we're not talking a small account, we're talking a very large account. And so the goal here is that I want to teach you how to do this. I want to teach you what it's doing. And I'm going to share with you how I was teaching traders manually this approach. And then what I'd like to do is share with you how the software does everything for you. The goal for me today is to teach you that this trading system is a very successful approach, but more importantly, the software will do everything for you. All you need to do is load it. You need to understand where to place your trades, and then the software will do everything else for you, which is really a gift, if you ask me, in the industry. So, how many of you guys have heard of liquidity before? Type a yes if you've heard of liquidity. How many of you guys have heard of the weekly range theory? Many of you not. I'm assuming most of you haven't. And some of you will have heard it by me, but the weekly range theory is something that we've built by the Trading Compass tool set, and we're going to talk about that. But the nice thing is that we're going to piece this all together. Now, because we are talking about trading and because there is a performance aspect to this, as well as the trades that I took, please note that my trading is not like everybody else's trading. And the markets are risky and I can't guarantee you performance and just everything in between of that. So just know that I'm not here to give you advice. And if you are placing capital in the markets, please do so at your own discretion. So please type a Y in the chat box that you understand and you accept the risk disclaimer, guys, so that we can move forward like professionals. Yes? That's great. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So what I'd like to share with you is that we're going to go over the agenda. This isn't some normal agenda. Okay. So what you're seeing here is a screenshot of the trade logs that I did in the platform before we built the software. And essentially what I did was I went on a journey to share with traders why this approach is so damn incredible. I get there's going to be me and there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to sell you the sizzle. In your minds, you're going to think all we do is sell systems and blah, blah, blah. I'm here to tell you that this is the real deal, guys. I literally took $1 million SIM account. I used a SIM account for the purpose of demonstration. I took $1 million SIM account and I turned it into 2.4 million in 3 weeks using this indicator package, using this approach, using this strategy. So I don't care if you're trading a $10,000 account, a $100,000 account, $1 million account. It doesn't matter. You grow your account by 150%. That is incredible. Okay. And so the bigger the account, the harder it is. I did it on a massive account to demonstrate that this is really something to basically look at. And Herbert says, yes, it's working for me in Sim. Yeah, you've been trading it in Sim before you go live. Great. I traded everything, Rod. So futures, currency futures, everything. This works on every single market. You could trade this on Forex, crypto, futures, stocks. It doesn't matter. This trading system is designed for any type of trading market you want to trade it on. It doesn't matter. I can literally pull up any market that you give me and I can tell you where the next trade is. Yes. So we're going to go through this. This is not some random sales pitch. We have built something that is incredibly consistent. It makes anybody that does this will definitely do incredible. Daniel says it's scary, amazing. Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, it is. It is incredible. It's next level incredible. Okay. So you're probably thinking, oh, here we go, Sean. Another pitch. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to show you the trades that I took manually. We're going to go into the markets. We're going to take a look at the trades, exactly what we've done. It really is an insanely profitable trading system. And I just wish that I found this years ago because we'd be providing it years and years and years ago, but it didn't work out that way, right? Well, here we are. Okay. So we're going to go through all this cool stuff, right? Well, I don't like to read the slides. I normally have my own cadence and how I present the webinars. And I just like to talk to you guys like traders because that's what we are. I'm going to get through this. And we're going to teach it to you and we're going to get through it. Okay. So the issue here, okay. Yeah, David says we're waiting for you to start selling OxyClean. Yeah. So here's the thing. Okay. Traders are going to place levels all over the goddamn charts, right? And the problem with that is that nobody makes any money. You're going to draw your levels. You're going to put your EMAs on your charts. You're going to put your oscillators on your charts. You're going to buy tools. You're going to find a million ways to do things. I promise you that. What's going to happen is you're going to go through a journey. You're going to make some money. You're going to lose some money. You're going to make some money. You're going to lose some money. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to lose a lot of money. Then you're going to lose a lot of money. The majority of traders, the failure rate with traders is over 90%. I know this because we run prop firms. I have the data across thousands and thousands and thousands of traders. The failure rate in the markets is very high. So the problem is that how do we get out of that? How do we break that cycle? Some of you might be in that rat race right now. Some of you might be consistent right now, but then all of a sudden you lose it. And then you're like, wow, what happened? I was doing well and then I lose it, right? The goal here is that you stop going through that process. You only need to be running a profitable business, and the goal needs to be to consistently stay profitable. Would everybody agree with me that that is the only thing you care about right now in the financial markets? Yes, yes, you've probably spent some money, you've invested in tools, you've probably spent more than you care to admit, right? I get that. That doesn't matter. Who cares what's happened in the past? All that matters is that if you are not making a shitload of money right now, then you are clearly not reaching your goals, right? Your goals have always been to make a lot of money and also not waste a lot of time. And unfortunately, you're wasting a lot of time because I can promise you that the majority of you here are not making the goals you would like to make. Am I wrong or am I right? Just type a yes if I'm right. If you're not making the type of money that you wish you were making, type a yes. Yeah. I already know the answer. I just want you guys to pay attention to what I'm sharing here so that you can connect to it because it actually has merit and it matters. It matters to me and it matters to you. So therefore it matters. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a trading system. Okay. You're going to say, well, how is this any different than all the other trading systems? It is. It's different because there's rules to this. This not just tools. I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to share with you the rules. I'm going to share with you where the entries are. I'm going to show with you how to use it. I'm going to explain the concepts. I'm going to explain how to take the trades. I'm going to explain where not to take the trades. You will have a direct roadmap to how I generated 150% return on my account. I took that educational strategy and I taught it to a very big group of traders privately over the last month. And everybody that has been in that boot camp has watched me call every single major trade the market has seen in the last several weeks. I'm going to open up the chat for a second. Okay. I'm going to open up the chat to everybody. Okay. I don't do this normally. Okay. Everybody here, if you could do me a favor, if you've been in the boot camp and you've watched me call the shorts and the trend breaks and everything, do me a favor and post it in the chat. Make sure you select post to everybody in the drop down. If you've been in that boot camp and you've watched me do that and talk about the trades, and I called the shorts on the NASDAQ and I called the longs, put in the chat box right now so everybody that was not in the boot camp can understand this is the real deal. Okay. Okay. Everybody here that was in the boot camp, just am I bullshitting you or am I just calling it as it is? I've called every single major trade that happened over the past month, and I called it literally to the exact entries, the exact direction, the exact strategies, called it as it is, right? And I'm telling you, how many of you guys seen the trends? How many of you guys seen the targets? How many of you guys seen the big moves I was trading, the big opportunities, right? Just type a yes if I'm on the right page or not. Like I just, everybody here that's been in there, just type a yes if you're in the boot camp, because there's a lot of other traders in here that were not. Okay. And I am here to share with you that there's a tool that I've built to automate the process. So that way, right? Okay, that way you don't have to do this. Now, I'm telling you that having these tools, okay, having these indicators and understanding how to use these tools is the foundation to success. Okay, I am here to tell you that you can make a lot of money if you learn this. You have to be willing to learn it with us, and we will teach it to you. Okay, I'm going to close the chat again. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, perfect. So what you're seeing here is two indicators. Okay, two indicators. I'm going to grab a cursor and we're going to talk about these. There's two indicators. Okay, there's the compass, which is this box. You're going to see there's this box here on the chart. Can't grab the wrong color. This is the compass. There's a compass. This is the compass. Okay. Then you're going to see lines. You're going to see lines on the chart. You're going to see lines on the chart. Okay. You're going to see sections on the chart. Okay. And what we're doing is we're using the compass to identify where we're allowed to take certain trades for certain reasons. And then we're using the levels to understand where the institutions are sweeping the highs and lows of big liquidity to take the big trades in the right moves of the market. Now, you could do whatever you choose to do. You could trade whatever you choose to trade. But if you follow the exact rules that I've taught using this tool set, I promise you, you will be successful as a trader. This is an absolute fact. I promise if there is one trader in here that has been struggling for their entire life, if all they did was follow what I'm teaching in this process, you will become a consistently successful trader and you can make a lot of money. Okay. And so why did I build this? Because I was trading this manually for a very long time, taking monster trades. These are trades that I've took. These are trades that I've taken, massive trades. These are hourly charts. These are not 5-minute charts. This is an hourly time frame. We're talking whale moves. We're talking life-changing trades. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to identify how to use the process, and you can trade it on every single market under the sun. I don't care which market you trade, it will work on every single market. This will be available on the Tickblaze desktop. And as soon as the Tickblaze web goes live, yes, this will be available on the Tickblaze web, David. Yes, it will. Absolutely. Okay. So there is a problem with the approach. The approach was that it took a lot of time. We would have to spend a lot of prep time. And I did this, like, the thing about this, like if you're going to go work 12 hours a day and you're going to go work for the man and you're going to go and you're going to sign up, you're going to punch a clock, you work a long day. So to me, I was prepared to do whatever it took to trade this way because I knew how successful it would be. And I knew that I've unfolded an amazing strategy and I've basically built something that is life-changing successful. What ended up happening, though, is that I started getting exhausted. That I had to prep the levels and I had to prep the weekly ranges and I had to prep the freaking liquidity and I had to I just got so exhausted. And despite the fact that it would make a shitload of money, I got to the point where it's like, oh, I have to code this. I have to build this into a package so that myself and all of the traders that learn this can do this without having. So by having the indicators, you literally load the charts and you do nothing but set alerts. Like that is it. Like you do not need to do anything and then you place your trades. So I've literally shaved off 80% of my time that I used to do, which gave me my life back, which means I gave back everybody else's time as well. Literally, I went from prep time of like several hours to maybe a minute or two per market and we're done. Like I went from several hours a week to maybe a couple minutes a week, a couple minutes a day. And that is the advantage of having the tool sets because the strategy makes a shitload of money and the process makes a ton of money. But what we're going to do is we're going to now use the indicators to do all the work. And I'm just going to teach you how to use the products and I'm going to teach you where to place the trades and I'm going to teach you how to understand the locations, etc. So the liquidity compass, what it's doing is it's mapping the weekly range of every market. The market can only go to a certain amount of price action every single week. And so once you have your compass, then what we do is we locate the liquidity using a proprietary 3-bar pattern method that identifies 3-bar liquidity locations on higher time frames. We no longer need to draw lines. We no longer miss the trades. We don't have any lagging oscillators, nothing. All we're doing is we're using the compass, which is going to tell us where we're allowed to sell and where we're allowed to buy. And then the levels where we're going to take the trades, and that's it. And there's specific rules around when to short, when to go long. It is a full-blown trading system. This isn't some tool where you got to figure shit out. Literally, you load it and you're only allowed to do certain things because that's where the real big money is made. And that's it. Like there's no changing the process, there's no changing this. If you follow the strategy that we've built, this is a turnkey plug and play rules based 100% mechanical proven profitable edge. And everybody in here, if you give yourself a day or two to understand the rules, this can change your life. This can change your life. I will bank my career on that. This can change your life if you do the way that we've built it and you understand it. Does that make sense? You give me a yes. Now I'm going to teach it to you, but how many of you guys would like for me to just give you the keys to the compass? Like these are the exact rules. Don't do anything other than this. Put this on your chart. This is where you buy. This is where you sell. This is exactly how it needs to work, right? With an incredible amount of accuracy. And I'm talking like catching trades like 4, 5, 6 R multiple trades, catching the biggest of the biggest moves in the market. Like we're talking huge, huge, huge trades. Okay. We took the entire short last week in the NASDAQ. We caught the entire leg of crude oil's rally last week. The entire move, like from the low to the high of the market. It doesn't place the trades for you, Rod, because that's an automated system, but it does everything but that. We'll teach you where to basically do everything. Yeah, we'll teach you how to do that. We'll teach you how to place your stops and how to calculate the stop size. Yeah. Okay. So the liquidity swings are not every high and low. So a couple things, a lot of things need to be understood is that we're not mapping the high and low of every single bar. That's the sweeper system. The sweeper system in the marketplace looks at highs and lows of every candle. 3-bar liquidity looks at specific price patterns, specific pivot points in the market that where big, big, big resting orders are going to be. It's not every single candle. You're going to see that not every single bar is a 3BP. A 3BP is a location where key liquidity in the market is going to be. And what we're going to do is we're going to locate the 3-bar patterns, okay, in combination to the weekly range compass because we're not going to trade unless we're in specific areas at the highs and lows of the weekly range. Why? Because this is where the institutions are moving the market. You're not going to play in the middle. You're not going to get smoked. You're going to only trade in the locations that matter. And when you identify the compass is everything. When you know where you are in terms of the compass, you then only trade the 3-bar patterns with the indicators because the levels are going to give you the best trades. So like you can take, there's a huge short that just happened on gold this morning. There's big, big trades. Like we'll go through it. Now, If you understand the compass, okay, the compass is going to tell you where to trade and where not to trade. Why? The biggest issue is not how do I place my entries. The biggest issue is that when you're trading at the wrong places of the market, you're not going to catch the best trades. You're going to get stopped out and you're going to have a hard time taking the big moves out of the market. When you trade at the right locations in the compass, okay, you are going to take the meat of the market. You're going to take the best trades. You're going to be trading where the professionals are trading. Think of it as the compass tells you where, okay, and when, and the 3-bar pattern tells you where and how, okay? So what we do is we use the compass to make sure that we're only trading the right levels. When we're at the right locations in the compass, then we take the trades because those are going to be very, very high probability trades for the long side and to the short side, okay? Now, the 3-bar pattern, what it's doing is it's locating only the key areas that liquidity is resting. It is only going to be used on higher time frames. We don't go lower than a 4-hour time frame, maximum a 1-hour chart. You would never, never, never do this lower than a 1-hour time frame. In fact, I do it on the weekly, I do it on the daily, I do it on the 4-hour time frame. I never do this lower than the 4-hour time frame myself. You say, well, that's a pretty big time frame. No, it's the right time frame for keeping yourself at the best of the best trades. If you want to day trade and scalp a 5-minute chart, I'm going to compare trade logs, and I can promise you, if you want to trade like a serious professional and make a shitload of money, or if you want to stick to doing what you've been doing, you got to make a decision. You got to make a choice. And that choice is really, really simple. You can stay doing what you're doing and get the same results, or you can do what other people are doing, making a wicked amount of profit. And the choice is yours. It's really up to you. The 3-bar pattern is going to tell you exactly where to place your entries. The 3-bar pattern is going to show you where the shorts are and where the longs are. And we're only going to trade them at the right locations in the direction of the market at the right locations in the compass. Does this make sense to you guys? We're going to use higher time frame levels for liquidity. We're going to show you where the orders of stops and resting clusters of orders are going to be. This is where we're going to basically take the best trades with the least amount of heat, and you're going to be surprised. Like you're going to get to the point where it becomes fun again. Like trading is going to become fun because you're going to catch monster trades and you're going to be on the right side of the market, and it really is that fun. Now, a lot of you right now are saying, okay, I've heard this shit before. I've heard you sell a product. I've seen other people tell us that their strategy is so great. Okay. This isn't just my strategy. This isn't just an edge that I use. Okay. This is an edge that is in the market. Okay. And I've exploited it in a way that I've made it simple and effective. And the only way that I can prove that it works is to trade it a lot, document the trades, and prove to everybody that this is the real deal. Why? Because then you're not going to listen to me. You're going to see that, okay, this is really happening. So these are all the trades that I've taken manually. Like these are all of the locations that I've done in trades manually. Like I've taken these trades manually. I've done the legwork, guys. I've proven that this works. I've taught tons and tons of traders how to do this. I've had boot camps and I've watched traders watch me call the tops and the bottoms and the big moves of the market. I don't need to prove to anybody that this is incredible. What I need you to understand is that you can do this. You can do this. You could be taking monster trades and making a ton of money. You could be taking these trades at the right locations and taking massive, massive, massive trades out of the market. Okay. So let me explain this. This is not the sweeper. This is not the sweeper, Frank. Has nothing to do with the same strategy. It's not the same indicator. It's not even the same logic. Totally different trading systems. Totally different foundation for sweeps. Totally different logic. Okay. Has nothing to do with the sweeper. Yeah. So anybody in here that's doubting themselves, or anybody in here that's saying, "Oh my God, like this is what I've been waiting for." Yes, you should be feeling that right now because this is real. Like these are $20,000 trades. This is really possible, guys. And I'm telling you that if you're trading for a prop firm, you can make a whackload of money doing this. And you can do this both on a day trading basis, and you can also do this on a swing trading basis. So there's two ways in which you can take this. You can take the levels and get out at the end of the session and catch a big, big move. But if you're trading with prop shop, which some of you are, you can hold these trades for multi-day holds and capture insane profits, like incredible market moves. And getting through the evaluation phase with prop firms is one thing, but once you get into the live side, let me explain where the real sexiness happens. Once you get through the simulated phase of prop shop trader or any other prop firm that you're trading with, once you move to the live side of the market with these guys and with us, this type of strategy is where you can multiply your trading account and the traders are going to get backed. Like you're going to get big, big backing from the prop firms. I know for us, if you're trading for our prop firm and you're trading this live, we would scale you to the heavens, because the key here is that we know what these trades can produce. I know it. I trade it. I see it. I call it. I've taught it. I've seen it. Right. Right. And let me just share with you some other trades. Like this trade, I took this trade. I entered right here. Okay. I took targets right here. I took targets right there. This is a very, very big time frame. That's a 5-minute chart, guys. That's the entire move of 2 days. Right. David says, I did 10 trades, all winners with one losers. Let me do this. David, I'm going to open that back up. Repost that. Anybody in here that's been trading this manually? Anybody in here that I've talked to in the boot camp? How many of you guys have been trading this manually? David, repost that, please. Who in here has been trading these trades manually? I mean, I think a few of you guys have. David has been. Who in here has been doing it from our boot camps? You trade it manually, Jess. David does. If you could repost that, David. Anybody in here that's been trading this manually since I've taught it to you guys without the indicators, please just post. You did 10 trades in the last 2 weeks, all winners except for one. So 9-1. Yeah. Yeah. What about Daniel Benjamin? I think Daniel in here has been trading a lot of it too. Daniel's been doing it because I taught it manually to a lot of you guys. 5 for 5. Hubert says you've taken 5 trades, 5 wins. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, this is the real deal. And this is really it. Yeah, post to everybody. Make sure you into the drop down, you post to everybody because nobody can see your posts. Yeah. Yeah. If you could just post to everybody, that way everybody else can see your success. Everybody in here that's been posting in the chat box, I just opened it to everybody. So you can just in the drop down post to everybody and repost your posts. Like Daniel did, he got several 100-point trades. Yeah. 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 Pain in the ass to chart 12 assets without the indicators. It is 3 for 3, Steve says. David says to 9 out of 1, 10 for 1, 5 for 5, right? Daniel's got several 100-point moves, 3 for 3. You did a 100-point and a 50-point move on NASDAQ and GC. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, this is it. Like, this is really it. And like you can have monster trades. Yeah, here 6-2. Kenneth says all of these are boot camp traders trading it manually. Okay. And you won't have to make these mistakes, Kenneth, because the indicators are going to do it for you. Right. These are shorts I've taken. Like we're talking massive, like $25,000 trades, 48. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have a 25 or a $50,000 trade. Maybe you're not trading that size of an account, but it doesn't matter if those are $5,000 trades and $2,000 trades. Same thing, guys. Same things. It's all in the eyes of the beholder or the account size that you're trading. These are trades that I've taken to prove the concept. These are trades that I've taken manually. Yeah, Steve says this system works across all futures markets, makes it really fun. It works across everything. Forex, futures, crypto, stocks, it doesn't matter, right? Like these are all the trades I took manually to be able to do this, right? Like we're talking serious, serious amount of legwork went in to doing this. And the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is that a lot of traders don't believe it's possible, right? I'm getting in where everybody else is getting stopped out. Yes. You do not need to attend the boot camp, Kenya. The boot camp was over. I'm just sharing with you that now we've built the system, we've built the tool sets. How many of you guys would like to see the charts right now? How many of you guys would like to see these indicators on the charts right now? I'm here to show. We can go take a look at the short that just happened on gold. We can take a look at some of these, right? Yeah, I get you guys want to buy. Everybody wants to buy. That's fine. Let me explain this, right? We're gonna go through some things here. We're gonna go through some things. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay. So it's really sexy software, by the way. It's really sexy. Okay. So can everybody see the charts? So there's rules to this. Okay, there is rules to this. Wish I had this morning. Yeah, gold had a big short. So gold short was right here. So the gold short was right there. Right. So you should be short gold from up here at the highs. Right. That's a 60-minute chart. Like that's a big move already. Like as a day trader, that's your entire day's nut with very little heat. Right. So let me explain this. Like this, we are in seller's territory on the compass. The compass will tell you whether you're allowed to be buyer or seller. Anything up here, you're a seller. Anything down here, you're a buyer. If you break those rules, don't ask me if you lose money. If you are a buyer up here, you're going to get crushed. If you're going to be a seller down here, you're going to get smoked. Okay. You are going to understand that this is the playing field of the banks this week. This is the only playing field that the banks are going to use. Why? Because every week the market has a specific distance that it can trade. We map out that distance for you so you never ever guess what's happening. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to basically look at this, and this is going to be seller's territory. Okay. And this is going to be buyer's territory. And when we get into seller's territory, okay, based off of the direction of the market, we are going to be looking for shorts. So here was the last short that just happened on gold, and it was a killer short right there. Now, this is setting up nice for a really, really, really big short. We are going to come and attack. We are going to attack these lows down here. We will be coming for this liquidity down here. If this is going to be the stop point of the market, it's going to come all the way down to attack those lows. So most of the traders that learn this system are going to take the short from here with very little heat, and they're going to ride this bad boy down all the way here. And it's going to turn into one of those FU money trades, right? Like, yeah, how many of you guys want FU money? You get up and you look yourself in the mirror and you say, yeah, baby, like I'm finally making FU money on these trades, right? This is where I give you that. I am the key to that. And I'm telling you, if you spend time learning what I'm about to share with you, it's possible. Now, two things are going to happen. They are going to take the short, they are going to get back into buyer's territory. And then two things are going to happen. They're either going to continue down for the continuation, or they're going to need more fuel, and you're going to take profits here, and you're going to come back up and you're going to get short again. Why? Because in order for it to go down here, down to the lower part of the range, it needs fuel. And in order for that fuel to happen, sometimes that'll happen on the first attempt and it'll rock all the way down to the weekly range, right? The market will never stay in the middle of the weekly range. Why? Because none of the banks make money. So the fact that it's sitting right here, right now, tells me two things on gold. Gold has to go in a direction for the institutions to make money. So if the institutions are going to make money, they're going to make money two ways. They're going to bring it to the high of the range, or they're going to bring it to the low of the range. And the way that we trade this, we only trade at the right location so that we always make money. So right now, there is only two places where we are allowed to participate in this market. Three, actually, excuse me. We are allowed to participate here, which just happened. We are allowed to participate here in case the market needs more fuel. And then if the market needs really big fuel, we are allowed to participate here. And that is it. There is three trades. Okay, three trades on gold this week. That's it. There's only three trades that make sense from an institutional level, and we will trade those levels, and we will make a lot of money off those levels. Why? Those levels are big opportunity levels. And I can promise you that anybody that's using the strategies that we taught in the boot camp, you're going to be trading those. You should be making money on this already. And if the market comes back up here, we will make a lot more money if we need to fuel the pump. But I'm here to tell you that eventually it's going to come back up. Okay. And so let's take a look at some of the other markets, and we'll talk a little bit about where we're at. Let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil gave the most incredible long last week. Incredible long last week. Now let's talk about where we at. Okay, so crude is sitting here. in no man's land. Okay. And I do not want to be a seller of this market. So for me, I will not be trading crude up here. I will wait for them to drive it back down in here and we will trade the liquidity levels. There's a really, 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 really big long cooking on crude right here at 99.63. Big, big opportunity down here. And you'll see that we just had a big trade. There was a really big trade here, but our traders would not have taken that trade. Why? It's in the wrong locations. So we don't take those trades, even if they make money, even if the liquidity levels work. Like there was a really, really big long to the software. You can see the software. This is the long right here. And the software gave a really big long trade right there. Okay. And it was the big, big move for crude. It's just the wrong location. So most of our trades, anybody that follows my guidance and my teachings will know that even if those happen, we don't trade long in the wrong locations of the compass. So if you want to make the big, big moves, you need to be patient enough to wait for the right locations. Does that make sense, traders? We don't trade in the wrong spots in the wrong direction. And that's the difference between making a lot of money versus getting cooked. And I promise you, patience will prevail. There's a lot of markets that you will have the opportunity to trade versus just forcing trades. Okay, let's take a look at the euro. Take a look at the euro. Fantastic. Okay, so the euro, here's a great story. The euro is in a downtrend on the bigger time frames, totally bearish. Okay. If you guys are going to post in the chat box, put it to everybody. I've opened up the chat box to everybody. So basically, if you are going to post in here, make sure you put the drop down. I very rarely do this, but I want the people that have learned what we're doing to speak openly because I know a lot of traders have been very successful with the manual teachings of what I'm doing here. This is now the software will automate everything. So if you are going to post in the chat box like William and a few others, just make sure that you post to everybody. There's a little drop down at the top of your chat box that says two. Just make sure you put everyone, and that way you can post to everybody. Okay. So what's the play? Well, I'm here to tell you right now is this is in a downtrend. So we are not allowed to trade long up here. This is for shorts. This is for longs. When the market is in a downtrend, we only ever trade way down here. Why? Because they are going to rush the weekly range. Right now, what's going to happen, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen on euro. And I promise you, bet money on what I'm saying, because the market started here mid-range and they drove it lower, and because the daily and the weekly are down, what's likely to happen is over the next day or two, they're going to flush down to this box down here. Then what's going to happen is they're going to run the liquidity here and here. And these are the two locations that are going to bring the longs back up. And so if you're looking to capture the monster moves on the euro, I'm here to tell you that they are going to happen right here. So this is where it's happening. You say, well, it's already started. Well, I don't believe that this is where the big, big move is going to happen. You're going to look at how the long, this is a buy level. So technically, yes, you could have bought this level. You could be long from this trade. And this is exact. Look at the heat. Very little heat. We're in a buyer's territory. And this is the buy. So you would basically put a buy level here. You buy limit here. You say, well, where's your stop? We use the average range for stop. We'll talk about that in a second. But the point of the matter is that we are in buyer's territory on the range, and we just hit a sweep level. And that is why the market hit the sweep. Now, because the bigger picture is down, I think they're going to come up. This will give you a base hit trade. Base hit, it's a 60-minute chart. This is a monster move for a day trader. And so there's the base hit trade. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to drive it back down, and they're going to hit this, and they're going to hit this. Why? Because the big time frames are down. So I think they're going to be most likely flush to the opposing side of the range. What's going to happen is they're going to come down and they are going to take these levels right here. Boom and boom. And this is where the big trades are going to happen. So the big, big longs are going to happen down here. This is where they're going to build their positions here and here. So this is a nice base hit trade for a day trade. You could capture a nice little base hit for a long. And then the big, big monster move is going to be here or here. And those are the big moves that are going to basically bring all the way up back into seller territory, where we're talking like 4 to 5 hour multiple trades. Big, big, big trades. And so this is what we're teaching here, guys. The software is going to do everything for you. It's going to tell you where to be buying and selling. It's also going to be telling you where the levels are. And because the higher time frames are in a downtrend on the euro, when we get back up here, if we get back up into this grid up here, this is where the monster shorts are going to be. Okay. And I'm excited because what'll happen is news might happen today or tomorrow that bring this down here. You capture the big longs and it brings it back up. When they bring it back up, this is where the big shorts are going to be. So you're going to find that depending on which way they want to play the weekly range, you might only get a chance to play the longs this week on the euro. And then what'll happen is they will bring it back up to these levels next week. Who knows? But I'm here to tell you that our software is going to tell you exactly where you should be buying and selling. And the rules around what we've done is we don't diddle in the middle. Like I don't place trades here close to the white line. That's dangerous. Okay. So you can see here, this has already given a decent trade off that one level. And, you can see that it's already given a reaction off this. It's given a nice reaction off this, and it's already given decent trades. Like it's big, big trades. We'll talk about. Remember, these are 60-minute time frames, guys. These are not scalping time frames. So the fact that it's already lifted from this level as a day trade, that's a big, big move. Now, for me, that's a small move, right? For me, a big move is from here all the way up here, and I capture like, this. But yes, it works on every market, Pete. Every market that you have a data feed and a price action feed. Yeah. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar because the Aussie is a great market. Take a look. All right. So we just hit liquidity down here in buyer's territory. This market's been in a downtrend on both the daily and the weekly. So basically the daily is the bias. So when the daily's down, what I like to do is I only buy in cheap territories and I really get aggressive with my buys down in here. So I will be a buyer here, but I will be more aggressive with my targets. I will be a buyer here and I will expect bigger moves. So that's the whole port is like when I get to these liquidity levels, like you're going to see there's a liquidity level right here, which is right about here. So yes, there was a trade right here as a day trade. So anybody that's using the software and the system here would have loaded this and you would have basically had, look at the long on that. That is a crazy good long. Like this was really, really good this morning. It hit this morning right there. A second here. Great, great, great location for a long right there. That was the trade right there. And you say, well, that's a great trade. Like that's a 60-minute chart, but the long here, this is basically where the trade was. And the software will tell you exactly where the levels need to be, right? That's important. This is where you go long the market and you only trade it on the time frames we give it to you. Like this is the desktop. I will give you this desktop. You do not have to do anything other than load this desktop and then only trade the levels in the blue and the red for the longs and the shorts. And what I do is I normally use ATR for my stop loss. So whenever I use this, I will basically use ATR and I will basically build the trade. And this will be basically the trade for me as I will use an ATR stop loss. And this would have already given me a full 1-to-1 target off that level. Right. I'm here to tell you this is as turnkey as it gets. Like the software is going to tell you where to be a buyer. So rule number one, you sell, you really be an aggressive seller here. You buy, you really be an aggressive buyer here. Okay. That is rule number one. So you're not allowed to be a seller down here. You're not allowed to be a buyer up here. Okay. Rule number two is we use daily levels and 4-hour time frames to show us which levels we want to trade. Okay. And that's it. Like you can go for way more than 1-to-1. Absolutely. I'm normally going for 3, 4, 5-to-1, Richard. Yeah. Because I know the levels are going to hold. Yes. I know what the 3-bar pattern is doing. The 3-bar pattern is not identifying every single high and low in the market. It is locating key inflection points that are identifying the most pockets of liquidity. How do I know this? Because we're using higher time frames for the pattern, and those patterns, in order for that pattern to form, there had to be an inflection point in the market on a higher time frame. So what is an inflection point? The inflection point is where liquidity had enough power to stop the higher time frame for a rotation, which means there's going to be resting orders at the highs and lows of those inflection points. And that's why you don't see levels all over the place. You only see them in certain locations, right? Like for me, it is really easy, Brad. It is really easy. And I'm telling you right now, like you need to, if you didn't get the boot camp, we recorded it. So if anybody wants the boot camp that wasn't in there, you can purchase the videos on the boot camp. I think what'll happen is if there's enough people that want to buy this and want to use this, we'll do extra training sessions for everybody so I can teach you how to do it and we'll trade it with you. Because I ran a boot camp with everybody and essentially everybody that was in it is trading it and they're already making a shitload of money. So that's a good story, right? So let's take a look at the NASDAQ and the S&P because that's what everybody loves to look at and they like to gravitate to those markets. I want to talk about it for a second because every market has a story. So here's a great example of we are sitting diddling in the middle. When we are diddling in the middle, I do not participate. Okay, so let me explain something. The Nasdaq and the S&P are down. So when the market is down, I know that they're going to do a run on liquidity to the opposing side of the range. What does that mean? When the big picture, the daily, the weekly is down, and we're sitting right here right now, the logical aspect of the market is they're going to flush it down to the opposing side of the weekly range low. Why? Because that's where they need to build their positions to bring it back up. So what's going to happen is they're going to draw on liquidity down here and down here. Well, right now, what's going to happen is there's only one liquidity level down here that they're going to try to attack right now. And they're going to shoot for two levels right now. They're going to shoot for this level right here, and they're going to shoot for this level right here. What does that mean? This is a buy location. Okay, this is a buy location. Down here is a big buy location. Now, what's going to have to happen is the market's going to have to drive all the way down. The key thing here, the key thing here is that when we're up here, they may need to run this liquidity here first before they can get down here. So I would anticipate daily's down, weekly's down. So the banks need fuel. The banks can't just go from here to here without a lot of power. So what they're going to do most likely is they're going to do two things. They're going to run this liquidity first, which is going to be a buy trade for us. And if not, then they're going to basically come up here and they're going to run that liquidity, which is an amazing sell for us, which is going to be the big trade to the short side. So this is really cool because there's a sell here and there's a buy here and there's a buy down here, and don't touch anything else. Like this is the big, big, big aspect of this. And so we're not using fair value gaps and can change of characters and all this garbage shit that everybody wants to talk about. ICT, that stuff doesn't work, guys. Like you, I'm telling you, if it worked so well, you wouldn't have a whole bunch of people sitting in their bedrooms trying to sell you their course because they're making so much money doing it. It doesn't work like that. Okay. I did not design this because it was fun. I designed this because it made a lot of money. It was a very tedious process to do this manually. Can you imagine for me every single day mapping out all of these levels and having to map out the weekly range of every single market? That was a lot, right? Okay. So long story short, guys, the NASDAQ and the S&P are going to run these liquidity pockets. This is where the trades are going to be. These are the longs and the shorts that are going to happen right now on the S&P and the NASDAQ. And let's take a look at the M2K, the Russell. Let's see what the Russell's doing. Not yet, David. It will be available for the web soon. It's not available for TradingView just yet. You can plot. Yes, that's the next. Let me explain that. So yes, you can plot the compass on any time frame. You can plot the compass and the 3-bar liquidity levels on anything. Yes, absolutely. So you can apply the 3-bar liquidity level. So if let's say you wanted to have a 5-minute chart and you wanted to have the 4-hour levels, yes, you can. Great question. So let me explain this. There's a big long brewing here. There is a long trade brewing. Okay, let me explain this. There is a long trade brewing right now, but I will not trade this. Why? I will not take this trade. Explain why. Because when the daily and the weekly are down, I always like to take the outer levels. I always, 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 always like to take the best trades. Why? The best trades are here. The best trades are going to be further down. Why? Because that's the monster trades. Sure, this might give you the reaction, but this trade is going to give you a way bigger reaction. This trade is going to be the biggest move for the market. So what's going to happen is they're going to run this level and you're going to get a nice trade out of this. Then they're going to run it down here if this isn't the trade that brings it all the way back up. Two things are going to happen. This is going to be the trade that brings it all the way back up to retail, or this is going to be the trade that comes up to here and then drops back down to get this level. That's it. Like there's nothing else that's going to happen this week. Like you don't have to worry about EMAs or fucking oscillators or any of that garbage. That nothing works, guys. Banks need levels and orders. That's it. Banks trade levels. Big money needs liquidity. Big money makes decisions on big time frames. This system is designed to give you the exact locations where the banks are going to pull their orders and they're going to run liquidity for big pockets of order absorption. This isn't some concept where you need to draw a box or you need to get the indicator to have this perfect freaking tool. This is simply mapping out the location of where the big orders are going to be resting. It's going to tell you exactly where to trade and where not to trade, and it's going to show you exactly where to place your orders. Does this make sense, traders? Give me a yes if that makes sense. How are you determining the weekly range? By the weekly range. We are forecasting the volatility of every single week on every single market. And what happens is that every market's different. So the software is going to basically, there's two indicators here. If I click on here, there's the 3-bar liquidity and there's the compass. They're two separate indicators. The weekly compass, you're going to see here that you can choose the compass, which one you want to break it off. I always do the weekly. For the liquidity swings, you can choose to plot the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the 4 hours. You can choose the swings from every single level. I like to have it on the weekly level. I like to have it on the daily levels. This is a big level, guys. Like, let me explain this. This is daily liquidity. They're going to run this. I just know, like, I already know the trades that are happening this week. Like, isn't that's how much power this software gives me. Once you understand the power of this software, let me explain this. I know with a 99% chance of accuracy that they are not going to breach this level. Like I will bet $100,000 if someone wants to take the other side of that bet, email me. I have 100 grand. I will bet you that that is the absolute maximum that this market will go this week, and they will rotate this. And they will. Who wants to take the opposing side of that bet with me? I will pledge $100,000 this week if someone wants to bet me the opposing side of that. Anybody here? Any takers? I will pledge 100 grand of my own money right now. I am that confident that that level right there at 2350 will be the maximum this market will go this week, and they will rotate off that level. And it Jess knows. Jess says no way because Jess knows. Jess knows my accuracy. Anybody here want to take the bet against what I just said? Make sense? I'm telling you, this is how confident I am in these levels, guys. I am confident that they will give a nice reaction here for a nice big trade. And what will happen is they will either be this trade will bring us all the way back up here. And if this trade doesn't, it'll give us a nice rotation for a decent trade. And then it'll come back down and it'll take this. Okay. So the nice thing is that expect the market to drop here to here. That is expectation. These are the levels here and here. What's really nice is this is a daily level, and there's also a 4-hour level right here. So these are multiple levels lining up. This is going to be a monster trade for this market. And what's going to happen is they're going to drive it here, and then they're going to bring it here and here, and they're going to bring it all the way back up, and then you'll be able to short it up here down, which is going to be fun and sexy. And expect to make a lot of money on these trades. Expect to be very accurate with these trades because there's no other hidden agenda. There's nothing else stopping this. Okay. There's nothing else stopping this. Take a look at the 60. Let's take a look at the yen. How many of you guys are excited? How many of you guys are excited for this? Take a look at the yen. The yen just had a great short. Yen just had a great short. Okay. So the yen is in expensive territory. Yen is down, so I'm going to be favoring the shorts. What happened is the yen drove the market up off the Sunday open. Sunday open is here at the white line. What's happening is they pushed up, which means they are driving liquidity up, which means they're going to build a position up here, and they're going to drive it back down here. That will happen this week. I will bet a large amount of money that that will happen. Why? Because that's what happens every single week. And so what's going to happen is they are going to drive it. They've already started driving it. Take a look. They came up. They hit this level. What a great short. Look at that. They hit the level. They already got the short. That is the short right there. That's a great short. That is a killer short. That's a 4-hour chart. These are two 4-hour bars already dropping. Understand that, guys? We're not talking small moves, right? These are hourly candles. For an hourly candle to do this much range, like as a day trader, that's exciting. So for me, the level was here, and I will give you this workspace. I will give you this desktop. You do not have to build a thing. Take a look at this. That's the trade right there. That is the trade. What's really sexy is that there's no liquidity. There's no liquidity until here. I can put it on this chart. Let's do that. Let's add the 3-bar liquidity here for targets. I like to do that for targets. Give me a second here. Let's put it on here, put it here, and let's put it to the hourly. So these are targets. So what I'd be doing, if I knew I was short here from the 4-hour levels, this would be my first target right here. This would be my second target right here. So this is entry from the short, T1, T2, or you can just write it all the way down and just wait for this level down here. Because that's where the banks, if the banks if this is the last place in which they go, they are going to drive it to this location. I am so confident in that. If they do not need more fuel, you don't know if they're going to need more fuel. Let me explain this. You do not know if they need more fuel. So if they need more fuel, what's going to happen is they will come in here, they will sweep some liquidity, then they will bring it up to hit this level here. They will sweep the highs. You will get short again. And then what will end up happening is then they will bring it all the way back down here. Well, how do I know that's going to happen? Because the daily and the weekly are down. That is the entire game these guys are rolling with. And I'm telling you that once you understand that, every single week you're going to see this pattern unfold. We do not make the trade decisions off the 60-minute chart. We manage the trades on the 60-minute chart. Plain as day. Now, I know I'm speaking pretty damn fast for a webinar, but I get excited because I know the power of this. And like you are going to have very, 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 very little stop outs with this trading system. If you do it the way that I've been explaining it and I'm teaching it, okay, and I'm showing it, I'm here to tell you that you will have very little stop outs. You will be very, very high hit rate and you have very large R multiple trades. Okay. Yeah. So we always manage the stop loss, Jeff, off of the 60-minute. So we would use the 60-minute chart. Normally, what I like to do is I just look at the biggest bar on the 60-minute time frame and I use that as my stop. Like that to me right here is the biggest candle. Right here, that's the biggest bar, which is the highest level of the ATR. And then I just say, okay, well, what was the range of that stop? So I would basically have a stop loss from there. That's it. I just use average true range for the stop losses. I usually do 1.5 times ATR. Right now, we have a bug in Tickblaze where the ATR doesn't show because they're fixing that. But yeah, either way, you can just the best thing is you can do an ATR on the 4-hour, you can do an ATR on the 60-minute. It's really that simple. For me, I just take the ATR of that candle. And if I just look at the biggest bar and I just do a risk reward, I do like, look at this. I'll do a vertical line like this. I just take the line like this. I just map it like that. Like that's the biggest bar. And I would say, okay, there's my stop loss. Like that's what I would do. My stop loss would be here. The biggest ATR on the chart. You don't have to do it that. You can just do it a little bit. Like your stop loss doesn't need to be that big, but like, yeah. So there would be your target, right? T1, T2, T3, 4R multiple down here. That's the goal. Make sense? I just like to use volatility because volatility is an easy measurement of movement, right? Yeah. Daniel, Daniel says, warning, the consistent large returns in this strategy may dampen your passion for scalping. Yeah, so Richard, the entries are the liquidity levels. So the entries are these lines. So you would be shorting from here. So that's the point. The entries, so it's going to give you the location. So location is you only sell in red and you only buy in blue. And these are the entries. These are the entries, yes. The white dotted line is the midpoint of the weekly range, which means this is the opening range of the weekly charts in the 6 o'clock Globex Open, which means from that point, let me explain this. From this point on, every week, okay, the market's going to do two things. They're going to trade to the high of the weekly range, or they're going to trade to the low of the weekly range. or they're going to go low and then go high, or they're going to go high and then they're going to go low. Why? Because the banks don't make money sitting in the middle. The banks have to move the market. That's how the freaking big boys make their money. So they're not going to keep it. They're not going to keep the market here. That would be stupid. What they're going to do is they're going to drive it up, get the liquidity, and move it all the way back down. When we get down here, we can trade it all the way back up. That's the point. How do I know they're going to stop here and here? Because the weekly time frame has a certain average range, and every market has a certain temperament. So the market's likely to only go a certain distance every week, which means this is what you have every 5 days, Monday to Friday. You have to understand what's going to happen Monday to Friday every week. And that's the reason I built it like this, is so that we use the weekly range to understand where the banks are moving their money from Monday to Friday every week. That's the business. That's why this system made me so much money. That's why it makes so much money. It's why it works, because it is amazing. Right? So it's either way, guys, like some of you are going to be like, nope, I'm going to stick to what I'm going to do. And you're going to keep going around in circles. And some of you are going to be, okay, let's do this. I'm here to tell you that I can only sell you the sizzle on what I've done personally. I've been trading for 10 years and never in my life, and I've been a very successful trader on many strategies. Never in my life have I ever made the type of money or done as well as I've ever done as a trader as I've done with this trading system. And I'm speaking from personal experience, not from development experience, not from building tools in a marketplace, from literally trading it. This strategy makes a lot of money, period. Now, you take it for what it is, right? I can only say that because I traded it and I've taught it and I've called the market. Last week, just so you understand, let me explain this. Let me show you last week. We called the shorts in the boot camp. How many of you guys seen me call the shorts last week in the boot camp? Yes? How many of you guys seen me call the shorts? Just to tell everybody, did I not call the entire freaking weekly move based on this software? Yes or no? Look, the line is still here from when I drew it. I drew this line in the sand. That I called that. And I told everybody, targets are here. Why? Because the software did it for me. I didn't do it. The software that I built did it. How do I know this? Look at last week. Last week, what'd they do? Look at the NASDAQ. This was the weekly range last week. The NASDAQ was here. This was the short. That was the short. They brought it up to weekly territories. This was the first short. Killer trade. Killer freaking trade. They pumped it up on the news that the war was ending. And if you notice, they drove it all the way through this entire run. Look at last week. They drove it all the way through last week's run. Boom, 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 boom. There was no liquidity in that level. No wonder the war, when they announced the war after the opening, they drove it all the way up to where? The liquidity, so that they could drop it, form some consolidation, sweep the last liquidity, and tank it. So there was two monster trades on the NASDAQ last week, which was this one here and this one here. And both of them yielded, like, we're talking incredible moves, like incredible moves. Like, I don't know about you, but there was no heat on these trades, no heat. And that's the thing, guys. Like, once you understand, we're not buying these and we're not buying these, we're selling these. Why? Because of where we are in the weekly range. The compass told us we should be shorting. Right now, on the NASDAQ, the compass is telling us that we can look to buy this, but the best trade's going to be here. The best trade's going to be this bad boy. Okay. And for many of yous, right, many of you guys are going to realize this is where the big, big moves are going to happen. Okay. Now, how many of you guys can see the trend breaker setup that we talked about in the boot camp? Boom, 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 right there. So what's going to happen is this is going to basically be the trend breaker trade that came off the compass, right? And basically they're going to drive it down to liquidity here, and they're going to drive it down to liquidity here. I'm telling you guys, yeah, this is incredible. Freaking incredible. So I just get so passionate about this because I know that there's going to be a lot of traders that once you learn how to do this, you're going to make a lot of money. And that's all I care about, is everybody making a shitload of money. Okay. Now, a couple questions. Many of you guys are going to buy the software and you're going to want to know how the strategy works, right? Yes or no? Yes, that's probably the big question you're probably asking, right? If I buy this, will you teach me everything that I need to do to be able to do this? Yes? How many of you guys have been thinking that, right? Because I know a lot of you are already thinking, okay, I want to buy this, but like I want you to show me everything I need to know so that I can do this, right? Give me a yes at that. That's a logical question, okay? Well, rather than me repeat myself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everybody together, everybody that buys this. We have a boot camp recording. Pete, I think the recording is inside of the marketplace, is it not?
It is. Let me go grab the links.
Yeah, so let me explain this. Wait for that. Wait, Pete, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to let everybody do this. So the key thing here is that I spent 3 days teaching these strategies, 3 days, and I recorded those days in the live markets. Okay. So rather than me having to do that, what I'm going to do is everybody who buys this, right, I'm going to send you guys a coupon because to buy the boot camp, you have to pay for it. I'm going to send you guys an additional coupon to get the educational recordings for this because I think it's a couple $100 for the entire bootcamp recordings. I'm going to get Ashley and Pete to put together a specific coupon. Everybody who buys this package, who gets this combo, we're going to send you out a coupon to get the video recordings for the bootcamp because the bootcamp teaches everything, guys. And so, like, I want you guys to have literally everything that you could possibly have. And it's 3 days of literally the best training you could possibly ever get. Does that make sense? That to me is the most fairest solution I can do, right? That way you don't have to rely on me waiting and you don't have to book it in advance. Like you could literally get the videos today and you can, yeah. So let me do this, guys. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Let's give away a free license. You guys want to put the link to the giveaway?
Just put it in.
Okay. You guys can free that up. Somebody in here is going to win it. Hopefully you guys have lady luck on your side. Dale says, I already bought the videos. Yeah. Well, I just think that this is going to give you guys all the education that you need, right, for this. Fill out the link, guys, please. There's a link in here. If you already bought the boot camp already, then you don't need anything, David. Yeah, you already have it. Yeah, it's yours. Like that's all the education. I'm just saying for everybody else who hasn't. Yeah. Yeah, if you already have the boot camp, we have a big discount for you here, Rain, for the indicator package. Don't worry. I'm just sharing because there's a lot of people that weren't in the boot camp. And what happens is they also need to learn what you guys have already learned. Right. Like I think that's a huge win for them, right? So people that need the education, if they buy the indicators, like, but they weren't in the boot camp, well, it would help them become good like you guys, right? You guys have already been in the boot camp. You already know the liquidity and all that. Now you're just looking for the tool to make it easy for you, right? Versus these guys who didn't join the boot camp, they're going to get the tool, but they also need the education, right? My promise to you guys is simple here, okay? If you're not making a stupid amount of money with this, you're doing something wrong, and then we need to get on a call and help you. I promise you that everybody who does this, right, is incredibly going to do very well. And if you don't, then there's something wrong, and we can easily just get on a call in an AMA and help you figure this out, right? So, like, this is not a maybe a few people can do this. Like everybody can do this. And like this is really, really, really good. Now, don't buy anything yet, guys. Just wait. Just wait, Herbert. Just give me a few minutes. I want to give the chance for you guys to win. Fill out the survey and you guys can win the survey, right? Do we have a winner here?
We got 160 people in the room. Only 100 people have logged in to try to win it.
Well, it's their problem, not
Give me
ours.
another 2 seconds. If you don't log in, you don't get a chance to win it.
Yeah. There's a link in the chat box for you guys to choose if you guys want to get put in the draw to win this software for free. Who doesn't want to win free stuff?
Okay, getting ready to close it.
Yeah, I'll give you the links here for that in a second, Dennis. Yeah, just bear with us here. We're just going to give everybody a chance to win, and then maybe you won, Dennis, and then you don't got to buy it.
Okay, we got a winner,
You got a
and
winner?
it is J-Rod. J-Rod.
J-Rod. You here, brother? J-Rod. Where's J-Rod in the house? You got a few minutes to claim it. Congrats, J-Rod.
There he is.
J-Rod, brother, you won the Compass and the 3 bar liquidity. You're on the right. You're right on the right. Were you a part of the boot camp or are you new here? You just won the entire package. Good job, brother. Yeah. Everybody give him a round of applause. Winning is fun, man. Like once in a while you need that in life, you know? Obviously God's, favoring you today. Right? Yeah, man. Congrats. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, guys, are you guys ready to talk about pricing on this so we can go into this? Because I know a lot of you guys want to take advantage of this, right? So, are you guys ready to talk about pricing? Yes or no? Type of yes if you guys are okay with me segueing into the price points and stuff. And yeah, I'm telling you, man, I took $1 million sim account and turned it into 2.5 million doing this in literally 3 weeks. Like this is the best system I've ever seen in my entire trading life. Like the best. Like if you gave me $1 million tomorrow, say, Sean, trade this. This is the strategy I would trade. If you gave me 20 prop accounts and I had to trade a system and I had to trade it, this is the strategy I would trade. Period. I would not screw around with anything else. Yeah. Makes sense? I'm just giving you my honest 2 cents. Because I will blow anybody out of the water with this system than anybody else because I know the power of the trades. I know the movements that are going to come from these levels. I know the distance of targets. So I'm here to tell you guys, if you guys have any doubts or if you guys are like, well, maybe I'll do it like no, like I'm here. I'm here to tell you, man, like this is it. Exactly. Send me the OxyClean, baby. Always be closing. So, all right, guys, let's get into it. So first of all, let's talk about this. There's two products. Okay. This is the compass. So the compass, okay, the indicator for the compass, which is part one of this package, is 795. Normally it's more expensive. It's 795. Okay. So don't buy anything yet. Just listen to me. Okay. These are individual products in the marketplace. So if you buy the compass, the launch price is 795 for the compass. Okay. Now let me explain this. Yes, you need the compass because you're not going to know where to take the levels. The 3 bar levels are also 795. Okay. So if you're buying one or the other, they're 795 each. If you buy it as a package, okay, what's going to happen is that you will get a discount. Okay. You will get a discount. Now, let me explain this. Everybody that was in the boot camp who paid for the boot camp, check your email because you will also get a discount to drop that even further. So that way, because you've already spent money on the boot camp last week, we want to give you guys a better price because you've already invested in that whole boot camp. So anybody that has been with us who bought the boot camp, you'll also get a better price. So if you're buying the package, make sure that you use the coupon, right? You make that back in one trade. Exactly. Exactly. So now let me explain this. There's a way you can do this. All you need to do is add one of these to your cart. So you could choose either add the compass or add the liquidity tool to your chart. Only add one of them to the if you're planning on buying both. This is if you're planning on buying both, okay? If you're planning on buying both, what you do is you add one of them to your cart. Then you go to the checkout. You'll see another section here that'll say activate my bundle discount, there'll be a little section where you can turn it on. So my suggestion would be is just add the compass or add the liquidity, one or the other, to the chart, add it to your cart, and then once you add it to your cart, you'll see another section to add the bundle. That'll give you the coupon and it'll make it worth your time. Okay. So does everybody understand that? It's in the checkout process. You add one to your cart, and then when you go to the checkout, you'll see the bundle coupon. Just click activate my bundle discount, right? And then basically do that, right? You'll be able to just select it. Can you please put the links in the chat box now, Pete, for you guys to purchase so that way they have all the links. Now, like I said, you can just pick one of them, either one, fill it out, go to the checkout, and then in the checkout, there'll be a little section to, would you like to activate my bundle? And it's going to add the second with the discount, etc. Right? Now, if you have an additional coupon, make sure you add that coupon into the checkout, especially for those of you that are basically part of the boot camp from last week. Now, we are doing an AMA tomorrow. I really, really think you need to be there, right? This is going to be big. Okay, it's going to be important. You want to be there. It's only for everybody that was in the boot camp and buying the products. Why? Because we have a lot to cover, right? There's going to be a lot of pieces of the pie here. So just make sure that everybody who's buying the products knows there's a training event tomorrow for the software. Okay. So make sure you join us and that, right? That's going to be on how to use the system, how to use the software, how to load it, how to set it up, all the settings, etc. Okay. So this is the bundle package here, guys. If you're getting both of them, which I highly, highly, highly recommend, because using one without the other is like walking around outside in a desert with one shoe, right? You need two shoes. You're not getting the bundle discount when described. Not sure why. Yeah, it's only available on the Tickblaze platform. Yeah, maybe you're not doing it right, or maybe there's something else happening, David. Just send an email in. You don't see the discount. Okay. Let me just walk you through this, guys. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up on my chart. Give me a second. Can you post the links again here for me in the chat there, Pete, so I can hit the login here? Yeah. So you need to have an account, log in. So just do me a favor here, guys. Bear with me. Okay. So give me a second here. So when you get to this page, okay, and you click on one of the links, yeah. So what you got to do, okay, is you log in. First of all, you got to log in, because if you don't log in, you can't log in. You're not going to be able to do it. All right. So bear with me. Let's get back to the links, and let me just click on the link again. So I'm logged in. Okay, there it is. So now I can buy. Okay, so let's just add it to the cart. So all you got to do, once you've logged into your account, click on the links. Okay, so hit the add to the cart. Once it's added to the cart, okay. Oh, that's something else is in there. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, this is not the cart. You got to view the cart. So click on the cart. Okay. Why is it not there?
Proceed to checkout.
Proceed to checkout. Okay, so
And then
basically,
it appears
yeah.
underneath.
Okay, so when you proceed to checkout, remember, if you have a coupon in the email, guys, if you have a coupon in the email from last week's boot camp or whatever like that, then make sure you put that in the coupon, because you want to make sure you get as much of a discount as possible. Proceed to checkout. Okay. Then down here, you're going to see it. There's going to be a little box. See this little bundle price here? There it is. There it is. Boom. So just do the proceed to checkout. Make sense? That's how you do it. That makes sense, guys? Hopefully that wasn't too complicated. A little bit of a rigmarole there, but we figured it out, right? Does everybody understand that? I know everybody's trying to do the checkout right now and not listening to me because you're all distracted, but I get it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to go back to the PowerPoint and just leave it here for Q&A. I'm sure there's lots of questions. And let's do this. I'm on an ultra wide monitor, so I always got to use the screen sharing option here. There we go. Okay. I bought the boot camp. Will I get a link for the AMA? Yes, David, absolutely. Are you buying the indicators? The AMA is for anybody that buys the indicators. Yeah. The AMA is only for people that own the system. Yeah. This webinar is recorded. Yeah. We'll send it out, Mohammed. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, guys, I need a poll here. Let me explain why I need a poll. Why? Because there's a lot of people that were in the boot camps and that have the manual strategy that don't have the indicators. A lot of people weren't in the boot camp. I need to know how many of you guys are buying the bundle. Why? Because it's going to dictate how I structure the AMAs. It's also going to dictate all of the coupons and all the emails that we send out to you guys. So can you guys please do me the favor of filling out the poll? If you're buying this software as a package and you're a part of what we're doing, please type a yes. I need to know. This is one of those tools where, like, if you answer the poll, it's critical because it has a lot to do with how we structure the boot camps and how we structure the AMAs, etc. Yes, the software shows you exactly where to be buying or selling. It shows you exactly where to be buying or selling as well, and it shows you which markets. Yes. It shows you everything, Vinny. It's turnkey. The whole freaking thing is turnkey, brother. Yeah, just watch the recording. You'll be all set. Please fill out the poll, guys. Only 30% of you have answered. I don't care if you don't buy it. It's not going to hurt my feelings. For everybody that is buying it, I need to know. You need to put a yes. Only put a yes if you were actually purchasing by midnight tonight, because I need to have exactly everybody that's coming into this. Why? Because this is a package. This is not just one tool. And therefore, many people are going to have mistakes with the coupons and everything. And we're going to make sure we follow up. Yeah. I have a 90% hit rate, Mohammed. 90%. 90% hit rate on my success. Yes. On all the trades. Win-loss ratio about 90%. Yeah. With an R multiple of over two to three. Yeah. The expectancy on this is better than anything I've ever traded in 10 years. Yeah. That's just me. I'm just sharing you my experience, right? You don't need to buy it. You can go do whatever you want to do. All right. I'm not here to kind of paint a picture of bullshit. Like I'm the real deal. When it comes to trading, guys, you can either listen to me or not. It's your choice. Anybody that's watched me teach or been in my webinars or boot camps, I don't have time for bullshit. Been around too long, right? Like I'm just a little bit raw because I know how many traders lose money and try to sell bullshit. It's just not fair to people. I just don't believe in it. I just think I see so many people just put out garbage stuff. I don't have time for it. You don't need any special data feed for this. Just level one data. Yeah. Sean, would you say this can be 90%? Yeah, if you're just trading one market, Joe, anything like you're not going to have a lot of stop outs with this. Like you can't be stopped out a lot on this. Why? Because there's only a few levels every single location. Like it's not like you're taking a bunch of random trades and a bunch of random reasons. Like these trades are calculated locations. You're hunting big game here. Like, yeah, you could have a very high win rate with this, Joe. Yes, very high win rate. Okay, we've got 50% have answered the poll. Can everybody do me a favor and please just answer the bloody poll? Yes or no? Fill out the full form with your phone numbers, right? If you want to speak to Jeff. No, the boot camp videos are separate. You would need to buy the boot camp videos if you weren't in the boot camp. Boot camp videos are a separate purchase in the website. Why? That's why I'm asking for everybody on the poll because I want to be able to send a link with the special discount for all the recordings for the boot camp. You got to remember, a lot of traders paid a lot of money for the boot camp, right? A lot of traders participated in a multi-day trading event with me over the last week, and they invested a lot of time and a lot of money. We recorded those videos in case people didn't attend, but you have to buy them. Like it's not fair to everybody else you paid that we just give it away for free. Like that's just not fair to everybody. Like that's not, yeah. Richard, if you've already bought indicators in the marketplace, then your marketplace fee includes this. Like you only have one fee a year for all tools in the marketplace. You could buy two products or you could buy 20. The fee is still the same and it's an annual fee. Yeah, Robert, good choice. Yeah. Yeah. Your marketplace maintenance fee doesn't change when you buy more products. Like we could have done that. Great for us, not good for you guys, but we based it on everybody's access across all products. One fee for all products, which is a big, big discount for you. A lot of companies charge maintenance fees per product. We charge it as a store, which is a win-win. Can everybody do me a favor, please, and fill out the poll? If you're buying it, great. If you're not, no problem. I need to know because everybody who fills out the poll will get emails specifically for the bootcamp videos at a discount and then ultimately the AMA for tomorrow. Okay. It works on stocks. Yes, Thomas. In fact, during the bootcamp, we did a day where we looked at stocks and we actually called the shorts on the NASDAQ. We called the shorts on Apple, on Tesla. It's only for Tickblaze. Yeah, Tickblaze desktop, and then eventually it'll be ready on the Tickblaze web, which will be for TradingView, Dennis. Yeah. Okay, so I've got 54% of everybody who filled out the poll, which means nobody wants to help a brother out. Can everybody help me out here, guys? Please just fill the poll out. I just need to know. It's for your benefit, not mine. It's either yes or no. If you're planning on buying the package, please fill out the poll so that my team can help you. Tickblaze web goes live in the next month. Yeah. We do not do any swaps for launches, Sam. Unfortunately, no. Yeah. Yeah. The development cost for us to run the teams and the entire infrastructure, we would go bankrupt as a company if we did that. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, but we don't do swaps on launches. Yeah. Jack's asking how soon will it be available on TradingView? As soon as the web platform goes live, we're opening up the marketplace indicators on the web. Yeah. So it's coming, guys. Yeah. Yes, the indicators. Yeah, just watch the recording, Mohammed, tonight. Yeah, watch the recording. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Plus, Tickblaze is free. What else can you ask for? Don't have to pay to use the platform. You can sign up. We have 4 prop firms onboarding with Tickblaze right now. So very shortly, over the next couple of months, you're going to see a lot of prop firms launching Tickblaze. Lots of them. Some big firms too. Some big firms are going to be starting to use Tickblaze. So it's going to be exciting. Yeah. Yeah. So lots of people will be able to buy lots of accounts for firms that are using Tickblaze as a platform. So it's going to be exciting. Yep. Fantastic. All right, traders. Listen, I want to thank everybody for being here. Remember, if you have any question, no, that's not true, Ed. Yeah, that's not true. It's both, Marty. This product is for day trading and swing trading. Yeah, both. Yeah. And if you do decide to swing trade, you can get the accounts at Prop Shop for the swing trading, right? We've got some big announcements with Prop Shop coming very shortly. So you guys are going to be watching out on that. Some really, really big stuff related to simulated payouts for futures again. Yeah, big stuff coming. Yeah, we've been working with legal and regulation to bring back simulated payouts. We launched equities and we had to change our business model, but then we made a big, big lift to do some big lift to revamp the future side of it. We can't do it for equities because equities doesn't allow simulated payouts, but for futures, we've been doing some big structuring. So we'll be able to bring back simulated payouts for futures. So that's exciting. Yeah. Tomorrow the webinar, the AMA is starting. The boot camp already happened, J Rod. So you should be able to get an email to look at buying the recorded videos. So then I should suggest watching those recorded videos. Yeah. Nick says that's good news. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, guys. AMA tomorrow. Make sure you be there, be square. If you're buying the software, great. Got a lot of people buying it. Great. Benchmarks are never changing. Yeah, benchmarks are going to stay there. It's just we're going to be able to uh, add back payouts for the benchmarks, which is exciting. So we're going to talk about that, but different discussion, different time. Just getting you guys excited. Okay, remember, Tickblaze is free. We're an award-winning platform. Hopefully, you guys have downloaded it. Obviously, it wouldn't be here if you haven't. And thank you for your attendance. As always, we always appreciate you giving us time of day. And I appreciate you guys for being here. Hopefully, you guys value what we've done and super, super excited to see what you guys can do with this. Remember, we're here to help you make a lot of money with this. This software can generate a lot of returns when you understand what to do with it. We are here to help you on what to do with it. So make sure you purchase it, and we'll follow up with all of the information around education, et cetera, et cetera. Sound good? Take care, traders. Have a fantastic day.